Story time. Hypothetical Ryan stared at his resignation letter for the third time that week. His boss had publicly dismissed his innovative project proposal, calling it unrealistic in front of the entire team. The voice in his head whispered the familiar refrain, "You're not cut out for this. You'll never succeed here. Just quit." But then Ryan discovered something that changed everything. Two simple words that transformed not just that moment, but his entire career trajectory. Hey there, it's me, Core, and you're listening to Exercising Self-Control from Fitness to Flourishing. Within 6 months, Ryan had not only implemented his unrealistic project, but received a promotion to lead the innovation team. The difference wasn't his skills, his experience, or his circumstances. The difference was learning to wield two of the most powerful words in the English language: perhaps and regardless. Perhaps. What a great word. It means there is a possibility, but it is not a certainty. This is exactly the word you want when faced with a belief, thought, or opinion that is not useful. You think I'm stupid for choosing this path? Perhaps. My stupidity is a possibility, but it's not a certainty. I don't accept the certainty of that opinion. What are some other possibilities? That I'm intelligent, but mistaken. That this is a good decision and will work out fine. That I'm willing to face failure in order to explore interesting options. Perhaps is also helpful when you're dealing with your own interpretations. I won't get this sale. It's pointless to even call. Perhaps. She's going to say no if I ask her to dance. Perhaps. I'll never lose these last 15 pounds. Perhaps. In these three examples, the interpretation is only one of many. It's not necessarily the correct one. Perhaps is a simple, innocuous word that provides the opening wedge to thinking differently. If I call, at least I have a chance. Not calling guarantees a no sale. She may say no. She may also say yes. Either way, I'll be proud of myself for asking. It's tough going, no doubt. But I lost the first 25 pounds. I'll just keep at it and ask the trainer at the gym for advice. Now, regardless. This means despite the prevailing circumstances. This is the word to use when taking action in the face of adversity, either external or internal. You think I'm stupid for choosing this path? Perhaps. I'll press on regardless. No matter the opinion I face, I'll stay true to my values and my choices. What you think of me is none of my business. Regardless keeps you independent of people's opinions, others, or your own, how they try to influence you, the circumstances in which you find yourself, the success or failure of your actions, or how you happen to feel in the moment. Regardless makes you independent of everything except your choice and your commitment. Regardless if I get the sale or not, I'm making this call. Regardless of how nervous I feel, I'm asking her to dance. Regardless of how long I thought it would take to lose 40 pounds, I will keep going. These aren't just clever word tricks. They're cognitive tools backed by decades of psychological research. Perhaps activates what psychologists call cognitive flexibility. This is your brain's ability to shift between conceptual representations. When you say perhaps to a limiting belief, you're literally rewiring neural pathways that have kept you stuck. Dr. Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset shows that people who view abilities and intelligence as changeable rather than fixed achieve significantly more success across every domain of life. Regardless taps into what Viktor Frankl called the last of the human freedoms. This is the ability to choose your response regardless of circumstances. This principle, central to cognitive behavioral therapy, breaks the automatic connection between external events and your emotional reactions. When you act regardless, you're exercising what psychologists term agency. That is, the fundamental human capacity to think for themselves and act to shape their experiences. Together, these words create what researchers call psychological flexibility, a broader term than the aforementioned cognitive flexibility. This is the ability to adapt your behavior to match your values and long-term goals rather than short-term emotions or circumstances. Here's a 30-day implementation framework. Week 1, master perhaps thinking. In the morning, identify one limiting thought and respond with perhaps plus 3 alternative possibilities. In the evening, note one belief you questioned that day. Track possible patterns. Which limiting thoughts appear most frequently, if any? Week 2, add regardless actions. Choose one small action each day that scares you slightly. Before acting, say, regardless of the outcome, this aligns with my values and I'm exercising virtuous self-control in the moment of choice. Then document. What did you do that you wouldn't have done before? Week 3, combine both words. Face one significant challenge using both words in sequence. Use this format. Perhaps, insert limiting belief, finish with, I'll exercise virtuous self-control regardless. Practice that full sequence. Question, alternative possibilities, committed action. In week 4, go to advanced applications. Apply this to your biggest current challenge. Teach the framework to someone else. Teaching solidifies learning. Craft your personal, perhaps regardless phrase for future challenges. Here are 3 common pitfalls to avoid. 1. Perhaps pondering. Using perhaps to avoid action rather than enable it. Questioning beliefs should lead to empowered actions, not endless analysis. 2. Regardless recklessness. Acting regardless of anything, including genuine wisdom and safety. The goal is independence from limiting beliefs and others' opinions, not from well-reasoned thinking. And 3, irrational impatience, expecting immediate transformation. These are mental muscles that strengthen with practice. There's that word again. Remember the training. Here's what Hypothetical Ryan discovered, and what you can discover too. You may be one word away from a different life. Every limiting belief that has ever held you back crumbles in the face of perhaps. Every excuse that has ever stopped you dissolves when met with regardless. The person who criticized your dreams, perhaps they're wrong. You'll pursue them regardless. The voice that whispers you are not ready, perhaps that voice means well, but you didn't ask. You'll start regardless. The circumstances that seem impossible, perhaps there's a way you haven't seen yet. You'll keep looking regardless. Perhaps opens the door to possibility. Regardless walks you through it. 2 words, countless possibilities. The only question remains. What limiting belief will you question first? What aligned action will you take regardless? Your next chapter begins with a choice. Make it a good one. That's it for today. Catch you next time.